After helping dozens of families move and relocate to the Chicagoland area, I have a pretty good handle on the do's and don'ts when it comes to the real estate experience. And if you want to know what those are, then keep watching. What's happening, everybody? This is Austin Weiss, your go-to real estate expert right here in the Chicagoland area. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, tap that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, make sure to leave me a comment down below. So today's video is going to be all about the do's and the don'ts when it comes to buying real estate here in the Chicagoland area. And I'm being interviewed by my lovely wife, Kelly. So Kelly, say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody. Nice to see you.
She's always helping me in the background with all my videos and all my business ventures. So I'm really happy that I could introduce you to my YouTube channel here today. So she's going to ask me a few questions about the absolute don'ts and the do's, and we're going to kind of reverse everything and tell you what to actually do and what not to do. So without any further delay, let's hop right into question number one.
Question number one I would have is, should people start looking at homes before even speaking to a lender or getting pre-approved? What does that look like?
Yeah, so fantastic question. So never go look at a house without knowing what your purchasing power is. So you want to get that pre-approval in hand before you ever start shopping for a house. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting a ton of your time. And not only your time, but your real estate agent's time, the seller's time, and a few other people as well. So basically, once you get that pre-approval, that's your golden ticket to submit offers on a home, because you're going to take that pre-approval, attach it to your offer, and then shoot that off to the seller so that they can review it, know that you've been talking with a qualified lender and are actually approved to buy a house and have loan dollars to back you up when you're actually purchasing a house. So going off of that, I've had quite a few people that, they tell me, we're pre-approved for a certain amount. Let's go shop for houses tomorrow. And I say, no, I need to see the document, or you should probably talk with 2 or 3 other lenders as well to see who's going to be the best fit for yourself, who has the best rates, and the fee structure, because there's a bunch of hidden fees when you're going to shop for a loan as well. As soon as they talk with another lender or two, they realize that they can end up saving thousands of dollars on their mortgage, and is actually beneficial for them to hold off on looking at homes and talk with several other lenders as well. Right now, because rates have pretty much doubled since earlier this year, and of course from a year or two ago, there's several other programs that have rolled out recently. One that comes off the top of my head is a 2-1 loan program. So basically, you get the seller to buy down your rate by 2% in the first year, and then the second year 1%, and then in the third year it's even with what they actually quoted you for. But that's going to end up saving you thousands of dollars within those first 2 years, because that's when a lot of your interest payments are.
That's awesome. I also feel like in this type of market, it just puts you at a much better advantage to be able to make an offer right away. Because if you like a house, so does everybody else. And those that are already pre-approved and spoken to somebody, they're the ones that can put in the offer like that day. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And going off of that, because you are competing against other people for your favorite house, you need to set a budget. So not only knowing what amount of house you want to buy, but what monthly payment do you want to spend on your monthly mortgage, homeowners insurance, utilities, any repairs or maintenance costs. And then, of course, if you're buying in a neighborhood with an HOA, you need to budget that in and say, I want to stick to this amount or under when shopping for a house, and then only shop for homes under that budget where it's going to meet or be under what you're willing to spend.
Totally. Let's talk about the process for a minute. So What do you feel like that looks like? Should people just start going out and looking at homes and kind of figuring it out as they go and what their style is? Or do they need to put together a plan in advance and know exactly, like, for somebody that's just starting this, what does that look like?
Yeah. So when you phrase it like that, it sounds silly because I'm used to it. But for a lot of people, they don't realize that there's a lot of planning up front, and it's very beneficial to get a basic plan in writing up front before ever going to look at a house, because you're going to be investing a ton of time when shopping for a house, not only going to look at the house, making offers, the inspection, the appraisal, all the phone calls with the attorney, your real estate agent, and your mortgage lender, and your homeowner's insurance person. So there's going to be a ton of time invested. And for the normal people, the normal process of buying a house, it will take months to buy a house. It's not just a quick process. Like you're going to go look at 3 homes, find one, and then 30 days later, you're going to move in. For the average person, it's going to take several months. And if you don't plan up front, and I've witnessed this, unfortunately, where people either don't want to do it the way I suggest, or they want to do it their own way for whatever reason, it ends up taking them years to find a house because they start ping-ponging all around Chicagoland, looking in different markets because they have no idea where they want to live. And then they have no idea what style of house, what price point, and it just gets really chaotic. So I cannot stress enough, when you're looking for a home, have a plan, and I will help you put together this plan, exactly what works for the majority of the people that I work with. And it reduces the stress levels, reduces the amount of time that you have, and it reduces the frustration, essentially, because shopping for a house is an emotional process. You want to feel comfortable in your community and that house. And if it gets to the point where you're not finding any of that stuff, it can get really exhausting.
So do you feel like people should fall in love with a house, like ideally what they want in a house, and then they see that? Or do you think people should kind of fall in love with an area? Like what's that look like?
Great question. So I highly recommend, because the city of Chicago has dozens of neighborhoods. The suburbs are even greater than the city of Chicago as far as like a land area, and there's dozens of suburbs to choose from. So here's what I recommend doing. Do your homework up front. Go choose a few different towns where you can see yourself living based off of your research, and then go and visit those places in person. Go eat at the restaurants, go play at the parks, go explore the neighborhoods, go pop into a few open houses, and then ask yourself the number one question. Can you see yourself and your family living there? And if the answer is no, then move on from that town and go explore the next town over, or a different town that you've read about and explored on the internet, or that we've talked about on our Zoom call. And then when you start actually looking at homes, you want to have it narrowed down to like 2, 3, maybe 4 towns at the most. Because if you're looking across 6, 10, 15 different neighborhoods or towns, it's going to get super complicated. You're not going to have enough time to go explore houses that are in your price range, that fit your needs. And you're going to start missing out on homes because, again, you're not the only person looking, especially if you're looking in a highly desirable area at a price point where majority of the population can afford. So I definitely recommend choosing an area over a house. So find the area that has every amenity that you need, or most of them, and then go find the neighborhood in that area where the houses fit your style and fit your needs.
Perfect. I wrote down a couple questions, so let me read this one to you. So because you've helped so many families relocate to here from around the country and around the world, which is pretty cool, what are some things that people need to know that need to sell a house in a different market before they move to Chicago?
Okay, so here's what I always tell people. If they have to sell a house first and get their equity out of their current residence in order to buy another one, at the very minimum, what you want to do is you want to put your house up on the market, get that house under contract, and get through the inspection period. So whatever that looks like for you and your state or your country, get through that inspection period. Because if you're going to be submitting an offer contingent on the sale of your house, and you're competing against somebody else that does not have a home sale contingency, who do you think the seller is going to choose in a multiple offer situation?
Yeah, right.
They're almost always going to choose the person that does not have a home sale contingency, because they don't have to rely on someone else buying that house in order to buy theirs. It's just a nice, cleaner process. It's stress-free, and it's not a domino effect. I've had several people recently where they were selling their house in some state that was contingent on that person selling their house in order to buy theirs. So now their home purchase here in Illinois is contingent on all of that. And then if one person doesn't qualify, it affects all those parties in a domino effect, and it just gets crazy. And it's just, there's a better way to do it. So, that's at the minimum. If you can, here's what I would suggest. first of all, I have a video on how to buy and sell a house at the same time. So I would highly recommend watching that. I'll link it somewhere over here. And it goes into way more detail, but I have a ton of solutions for you in that video about what specifically to do. But if you have questions about how do I go about selling our house in order to buy one there in the Chicagoland area, you can always reach out to me by phone, text, or email, and I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Perfect. And do you have associates, like real estate associates that you work with within other markets?
Yeah, so because I work for a global company, I have associates in all 50 states and dozens of countries around the world that I know. So if you're looking for someone to help you sell their house and you want to be able to have a seamless process, because I need to be able to communicate with them, and I need to be able to make sure that they're doing their job properly so that you can buy your house here in Illinois as well, I can refer you to some of my associates in your area. Absolutely no problem.
Awesome. Why do you feel people should reach out to you before arriving in town?
Yeah, so it comes back to what we already spoke about. Don't go looking for a house before planning. So you want to plan before you ever go and start the process. And if you don't, it's going to cause a ton of frustration, waste a bunch of your time. So what I do is I set up a Zoom call with people before we ever start shopping for a house. Most of the people I work with are coming from downtown Chicago out to the suburbs, vice versa, out of state. And I've had several families move here from out of the country as well. So it's vitally important for them to understand what to expect up front before ever setting foot in a car or in a house, and knowing what the process is, not only with the neighborhoods and what to expect in certain areas and certain price points, but what's the process of buying real estate in Illinois? Because it could be slightly different from where you're moving from. And I want to make sure that there's no hiccups along the way. I mean, it's real estate. Not everything is going to go 100% perfect every time. But if you understand the process up front, when you get to that hiccup, you know how to pivot and find a solution pretty quickly. And I'm good at helping people do that. And I just want to make sure I answer all your questions up front and then put together a solid plan so that you guys can more quickly get to your favorite house. And if for some reason your plan changes along the way, that's fine. But at least you know what you don't want, and then you can more quickly find what you do want.
Love it. This was super helpful.
Yeah.
So I see you're wearing some cool Austin Weiss real estate, home advisors gear swag. Yeah. Can other people purchase that too, or how does that work?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I just got together with a few of my clients who moved here from out of state. It was great to see them. It's always great to catch up with people, see what they've done to their house and see what's new in their family's lives. And he was asking me, how do I get a pullover like yours with your logo on it? And I said, I'll probably end up putting my logo on some beanies this winter, driving around saying hello to people, drive out to their house and give them some beanies to wear for the winter. So if you buy a house through me, just expect some swag and some gear throughout the years. If you're just someone watching on YouTube and you really, really are dying to have some swag with my logo on it, maybe I'll put together a store on some platform, but leave me a comment down below if that's something you really desire.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so I put together just a couple quick rapid fire questions to end this little video up. So they're all kind of Chicago related for the most part. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so Chicago food-wise is really known for their deep dish pizza. Lou's or Giordano's?
Ooh, you cannot go wrong with Lou's. What's that favorite pizza that you and I usually get?
The Lou. It's so good. It's the veggie one.
It's the name of the restaurant. How do I forget that? Yeah. It's all the veggies. They add extra butter into the crust. It's absolutely delicious. Giordano's is different. Don't they layer their cheese under the tomato sauce?
Yeah, it's like the sauce on top.
Yeah, it's not. You can't go wrong with Giordano's either. It's delicious.
That's what I always say. They're two very different deep dish pizzas.
Yeah.
We tend to eat Lou's more than Giordano's, I would say, but
that's true.
Both fire. Can't go wrong. Okay, Cubs or Sox?
Oh, I love the Cubs as a franchise, and I love Wrigleyville, especially the new renovations. If you want to see some of the renovations, I did a Lakeview video earlier this year. I'll probably put a link down in the description box, but they redid the outside of the stadium. They put a brand new hotel in, some shopping, some bars. It's really cool. That's where I first met my lovely wife, Kelly. She was living right there in Wrigley, about a block from the stadium. There's nothing wrong with the Sox stadium, though. You can tailgate. They have a fantastic stadium that you can walk all the way around. Wrigley kind of has you gated off, so you can only access certain spots of the stadium depending on where you're sitting. And the White Sox stadium is more modern, upscale. So it really depends. If you're a tailgater, go to the White Sox stadium. If you love the bars, more of a party atmosphere, then Wrigley is your jam.
Totally. So you've mentioned earlier in the video that you're working with people that are moving from Chicago to the suburbs, from the suburbs to downtown, as well as like people coming from out of country, out of state. What do you feel like specifically for the people that are coming in from out of country, out of state? What have you found entices them to this area?
I mean, it's a global economy here in the Chicagoland area. There's people from all around the world that find a home here, and there's something for everybody. So if you have a family, it's inclusive for that. If you're an individual, single, there's something here for you as well. If you're a retiree, there's plenty of communities, 55 and older. And then, if you're looking for a new fresh start in your career, there's dozens of headquarters for corporations from around the world that are headquartered or have regional offices right here. So you can't really go wrong with finding a job. And if for some reason you're like, it's cold there, Austin. Yeah, but there's 2 major airports. You can get out to the East Coast in like 2 hours, West Coast in like 3.5 hours. It's real simple to drive to other major cities because Milwaukee, Indianapolis, anywhere in Michigan is beautiful as well. And then, you have St. Louis and Nashville about 5 and 7 hours respectively away. So we're right in the heart of everything. You can get anywhere really quickly, and there's a lot going on here. And the 4 seasons are beautiful. You never have to worry about really natural disasters. I mean, we never get affected by hurricanes. We don't get affected by forest fires. There's fresh drinking water from Lake Michigan. So your water bill is relatively affordable, and it's just a nice area to live.
That brings me to my next question. What, in your opinion, is the best season in the Chicagoland area?
I mean, I love the outdoors. So I'm all about the summer or the latter half of spring, the first half of fall, when you can get outdoors in reasonable temperatures. And I love going biking, hiking, exploring on the rivers and the waterways, and just being outside. I'm a big brewery guy, so I love sipping some brewskis outside on a patio somewhere. And patio season is huge here in Chicagoland. If you ever go downtown, they have rooftop bars and patios all over the place. And it's just a really cool time, especially the lakefront. The lakefront Chicago is absolutely extraordinary with all the beaches, the lakefront trail, the golf courses, and all the activities going on downtown Chicago. So I'd highly recommend anybody exploring to move here, go check that out.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the questions I had for you today. So thank you so much for speaking with me.
Well, thanks for being a lovely host, Kelly. And if you're planning on making a move here, just focus on getting your stuff here. I'll do the rest. If you have any questions about anything I spoke about in this video or anything regarding making a move to the Chicagoland area, you can always reach out to me by phone, text, email, days, nights, weekends, and I would love to connect with you and help you in any way possible. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.